I just heard about Twiddle Muffs by Random Act of Kindness, which is a UK charity group. And the original Twiddle Muff was made by Margaret Light for her grandmother. It was to help her keep her hands warm and busy. It provides a less expensive and drug-free therapy. These Twiddle Muffs can be purchased online as well. They have a calming effect for dementia and Alzheimer's patients, and I even heard that they have been used with autistic children. LaQueen contacted me on Facebook from the Christ Hospital Foundation, so these are where these are going. It is in Cincinnati, Ohio. I was able to finish 3 of them. These are with just some scraps that I had left over and never finished, so I'm glad to have been able to come back to them and use them. This crochet stitch is from my Heavenly Blessing scarf. I have this block available for download on my Helen May Crochet YouTube channel Facebook group. It's free for members and it's free to join my group. This one was made with Tunisian crochet, and I just sewed it all along the borders. You can use it to place pictures inside there. Here's a bow that I just tied on there. This rose is my quick and easy rose. I have a separate YouTube video tutorial for that. I also used one of the roses on one of my other ones. For my kitchen towel toppers, I show how to place the crochet around this ring. This was one of my extra ones that I just tied or sewed onto this one. Here I was just playing around and made one of these. You can see a close-up of mine if you would like to make something similar. I have a separate video tutorial for these grapes, and I show how to make the little corkscrew vine-like portion, and it has some leaves. For my other grape design, I put it onto a removable ring, so this ring will open up and you can remove it. So again, I have a separate video tutorial for the grapes. I also have a separate video tutorial that shows you how to make this. This is from my crochet bag, and I also have a tawashi, crochet tawashi with the ripple. So I have 2 separate video tutorials that show you how to make this design, and I place this on there so you can place pictures inside of this one as well. The pictures are easier to fit in this design. It's a little bit wider than with this one, but I still like this little pouch where you can put stuff inside if you wanted to. And this is what my other one looks like. On the inside of this one, I have all of these loose yarn ends that are fun to play with on the inside. And then on the outside you have attached, this is a teether, and then you have some bangles or bracelets on the outside, and you can also play with the outer portion. For this one I also have this cat's head that is removable. There's a button up here where you can remove it, and then on the back you can see how I sewed the strap on there for the button. I have a separate video tutorial that shows how to make a cat's applique, and you could use that if you like this design. There's also, for this one I made a separate bag. So this bag opens up and there's a ball inside, just like on my other one. This bag came with the bracelets, so it's also removable and has the little ball in there that you can squeeze. So this one has one in there as well, and it's also removable. I have these little elastic clips that I attached some beads to. These are actually laundry clips that I got at the craft store, and I just cut the elastic portion, folded it up on itself, and sewed it in place to form a loop. I made a little fuzzy rectangle on the other side for the tail, and it also is removable. Has a button holding it in place. It's really soft. These are some leftover scraps that I had. This soft fuzzy monkey blanket that I folded in half to make it fit. And then this is a leftover blanket, baby blanket that I started and never finished. And it's about the same size that I want for my caregiver aid. So I'm just going to fold this back. And then I just take my tapestry needle, and I'm just using some of my glittery, sparkly yarn from Red Heart. And I'm just sewing it in place. So on the inside, I'm taking wide stitches, and then the outside where it's going to be showing, I just take a small stitch with my tapestry needle. This is my Crochet Easy baby blanket pattern, and the yarn that I used is by Karen Simply Soft. The color is Baby Bright's Ombre. The measurements for mine are 14.5 inches by 29 inches. So length is 29 inches, and then width is 14.5 inches. Then I just roll it up approximately about 6 to 8 inches, whatever width you want for putting your arms through. And then just roll it. Then you can make sure that you have the opening where you want it, and then just sew around the inner edges, sewing it in place. So you can see how I'm taking my tapestry needle and just sewing all along the outer edge, sewing all the pieces together. On the outside where it shows, I just take a small stitch with my tapestry needle. Then on the inside, I'll take a larger stitch. And then I'm just going to sew it all the way around. Then on the ends, I just took my 5mm crochet hook, brought up a loop with whatever color yarn you want to use on the end, and then just tie a knot. I'm going to crochet behind my loose yarn end to bury it. I'm going to start with a chain of 3. And then I'm just going to make 1 double crochet in every stitch around, and I'm making sure to grab all the layers if I have more than 1 layer, going behind my loose yarn end, bringing up a loop, and making a double crochet. So I'm just making 1 double crochet in every stitch around. Then you're ready to decorate. This is what mine looks like, and you can see the inside and what the edges look like. Now this one, I never expected to come back to this one, but I started with a circle like I made my turtle head. So I have a separate video tutorial that shows how to make the turtle head with an N or 9mm sized crochet hook. So it's a circle, a large circle. Then I just took this soft squishy yarn, and I just made with a magic circle. I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8 double crochet into the magic circle, and then just cinched it into a little ball, and then tied them to the circle. So it was a lot of work, and I never came back to it, but it would be perfect for one of these Caregiver items that I'm making. And now what I'm doing is I'm just closing them in. So this will be on the outside, and then I'm closing the bottom portion to make it into a muff. This was the yarn that I used, Bernat Baby Blanket. It's a super bulky 6 yarn. The color is Pitter Patter. On the ends I used my 15mm crochet hook to make a single crochet all around each end. This is what mine looks like when I'm done. On the inside I left all of the little loose yarn ends so there you can have fun twiddling with the loose yarn ends on the inside. And then you can decorate the outside however you want. On the outside I'm going to decorate with these bangles. I got these from Way to Celebrate Party Favor, 10 bangles inside this for only $1. And then also you can use Bright Start Chill and Teeth. The bag that these bangles came in is perfect. A perfect plastic bag for putting a ball inside. And then you can just tie this to the muff. So for mine, I'm just going to take and tie it to the end. Just going to bring the strings through. Let's see if I can tie a bow. And then it stays on there, and then you can squeeze on that too. And then you could still remove it. I want to show you the base for my Twiddle muff. This is basically the Trinity stitch. And if you like this Trinity stitch, I show how I made it on my Heavenly Blessing scarf. If you want to know what would be a good size for your crochet hook to make the Trinity stitch for your Twiddle muff blanket, then you can use a 5mm crochet hook. You want to make your starting blanket measure 12 inches in length, and then you'll stop when you've reached 24 inches. Once you have that size blanket, then you're going to roll it into this size, which is 12 inches across, not counting the ends. You can crochet the ends after you've folded it into a cylinder. So this one measures 6 inches across and then 12 inches in length. So 6 inches in width, 12 inches in length. And then you're just going to roll your blanket when you're done with the 12 inches by 24 inches and roll it into the size 6 inch by 12 inch. Then you're just going to sew it together and you get a nice thickness when you're finished. On mine, I attached my little square that says Hope and has a little cat. This is Tunisian crochet if you like mine. I have the graph available for free download in my Helen May Crochet YouTube channel Facebook group. But you don't have to use Tunisian crochet to make a square. You can make whatever pattern crochet square that you want and then just sew it along the 3 edges, leaving a pocket. That way you can put pictures or whatever other things that you want to put into the pocket. Then after you finish doing that, if you like what I did here, I just made a single crochet all the way around. And then for the next 2 rows I made half double crochet, 1 half double crochet into each stitch, and then I sewed a button on the one end and a button on the other end. This button I moved a little bit higher up and sewed it right onto the edge where I have the color change. And the reason I did that is so that you can take your little cat face. On this cat face I made a little bit smaller eyes. And you can make whatever sized cat eyes that you want. And then it buttons right on so it's removable. And then for the other side, for the tail, I just made a rectangle. This is simple double crochet. I used my fuzzy pipsqueak yarn, Bernat Pipsqueak. Here's some information about this yarn. But it's really easy. I have some video tutorials that show how to work with this yarn. And I just made simple double crochet with my 6mm crochet hook to make the tail. But you can make your tail however you want. If you want to use regular yarn, you can do that. And then make your tail as small or as large as you like. Then the tail, I made a little chain 6 loop so that you can just take and button the tail on the other side. To make my cat face, I used my Lion Brands yarn Pound of Love. Here's some information on this yarn. And the color I used was antique white. And as you can see, with this yarn, you'll have plenty for making a blanket as well as the cat face. For decorating your Twiddle muff, here are some ideas. I have these 10 bangles, little bracelets, that are real inexpensive by Celebrate. Also, I have these bright starts, little teethers that you can attach. And you can just take one and attach them to, and then use the other two for other projects. Also, this would be a good thing for the Twiddle muff because it has something inside of the little balls that they can squish. These are the hacky sack balls, 4 of them by Celebrate, party favors. About $1 each is what it comes to for the price for the one that I found. I didn't want to puncture a hole into one of the balls, so I just used my 5mm crochet hook. And I'm going to show you how I used my 5mm crochet hook to make a covering for this. So I just took my yarn. I'm going to make a magic circle. Just drape it across your 4 fingers, use your thumb to stabilize, then wrap the yarn around your 2 middle fingers twice and hold it in place with your pinky and your thumb. Then take your 5mm crochet hook, go under those 2 loops. You're going to bring up a loop, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through that loop for a slip knot. Then you're going to place 6 single crochet into the magic circle. Then just take your finger and your thumb, hold the base of the 6 single crochet. You have the 2 loops on the opposite side. Go ahead and pull on one of them. If it doesn't close, let go and pull on the other one. Just gently close it. You can always close it more later. Then take the loose yarn in and pull on that. Then just turn your work. You're going to place 2 single crochet into every stitch around until you have a total of 12 stitches. So 2 single crochet into every stitch around. For a total of 12. And then come back. Now you can see that I have 12 stitches all the way around. If you need to close the center of your magic circle, just take and turn your work over and pull on that loose yarn end. Then we're going to make another increase round. Just take your yarn marker, place it right where you left off. I just used one of my scraps of yarn. Then we're going to increase the number of stitches in the round. Remember, right now we have 12. So you're going to make 1 single crochet into the first stitch, and then 2 single crochet into the second stitch. Then just repeat that pattern all the way around, back to the yarn marker. I'll make one more set with you. 1 single crochet into the first stitch, and then 2 single crochet into the second stitch. Then just repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. I just finished 18 stitches to complete that round. Now I'm just measuring to check and see, and it looks like that I might need one more increase round to fit around this little football. So I'm going to take my yarn marker and move it up. And for this increase round, I'm going to make 1 single crochet into 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the third stitch. And repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. 1 single crochet into 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the third stitch. Then repeat all the way around back to the yarn marker. So for that round I just finished 24 stitches to complete that round, and that's plenty. Go ahead and take your yarn marker and move it up. Now you're just going to make 1 single crochet into every stitch around. Just 1. So that means that every time you get back to the yarn marker, you will have 24 stitches, and that's all. And that'll start forming a cup that will go around the football. So when you reach the yarn marker, just continue working in rounds. You only want 1 single crochet in every stitch around. For mine, I made 8 rounds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can see how it made a perfect little cup, and the football fits right in there. So you want as many rounds as to cover whatever you're using for the inside. Then I'm going to show you how to make a V-stitch for the top. That way you can close it and remove the object if you want. So then you just take and make a slip stitch into the next stitch over. Just yarn over, turn the hook upside down and bring the yarn through both loops on the hook. The loose yarn end you can just tuck on into the inside. I'll show you how to bury that later. Then you're going to take and make a chain of 3. Actually a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That chain 4 counts as your first double crochet and chain 1. Then you're going to make a double crochet into the same stitch. So you just yarn over, go into the same stitch, bring up a loop. 3 loops are on your hook. Yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through 2 of the loops. You have 2 loops remaining. Yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through the 2 remaining loops. Then you create a V-stitch. And we're going to create this V-stitch all along the top of our little cup that we made. You can go ahead and remove your yarn marker. Next, you're going to skip the next stitch and work another V-stitch into the next stitch over. So into the second stitch, you're going to make your next V-stitch. Go ahead and yarn over, skip a stitch, go into the next stitch over, bring up a loop, make your double crochet, chain 1, and then make another double crochet into the same stitch. So you just yarn over, go into the same stitch, bring up a loop, make your double crochet, and then you're just going to repeat this all the way around. You can see how it creates a little V-stitch. I'll make one more with you. Skip a stitch, go into the next stitch over, so double crochet, chain 1, double crochet to complete a V-stitch, skip a stitch, and repeat. So I just finished my last V-stitch and I'm back to the beginning. You're going to want to take your crochet hook and go into the third chain, 1, 2, 3. So the third chain of the first V-stitch that we created. You're going to make a slip stitch. Just yarn over, turn the hook upside down and bring the yarn through both loops on the hook. Then you're going to finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. Then you can take your tapestry needle, put the tapestry needle onto the end of your hook, actually put the yarn through the end of your tapestry needle. Then you're just going to take and weave your tapestry needle through the stitches on the wrong side of your work. Then you can go ahead and cut it. Go ahead and bury any of your loose yarn ends and then come back. For this crochet project I used my 3.75 millimeter crochet hook as well as my 5 millimeter crochet hook, tapestry needle, and a pair of scissors. For the tie around the top of the V-stitch that we created, I'm using this green washcloth scratchy type of yarn, but you could use whatever yarn that you want for your chain. All I did was just take my yarn, whatever your yarn choice is, fold it over on itself to form a loop. Then you take your crochet hook, I'm using my 5 millimeter crochet hook, put it right through the loop. Hold the base of the loop with your middle finger and your thumb. Then just yarn over, turn the hook upside down and bring the yarn through the loop. Go ahead and cinch down the knot and the loop around your crochet hook. Then you're going to make a chain. I'm just going to show you 4 of them. So that's 1. Just yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through the loop for 2, 3, 4. For mine, I made a chain of 40. Then I'm going to go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. And then you just want to cinch down the end on both sides. Just grab the loose yarn end and then pull on the opposite end until it's cinched down. Go ahead and trim both ends, leaving about 1.5 centimeters on both sides. And then you need 2 of these. Now you're going to take one of your chains that you made and you want to find out where the middle is. Then you're just going to take, and I have where I finished joining on the cup at the top of the V-stitch. I'm going to take my work, come in from the wrong side out. You can actually measure it once you've finished the halfway point. So then once you get it through one of the V-stitches, go ahead and measure it, make sure it's halfway. Then you can take and tie a knot. And do the exact same thing on the opposite side. So this is what mine looks like. Then you can take the one strand and weave it through. And you're going to do the same thing on the opposite side until they meet. So just kind of weave it through. I'm going to go right through the center and come out the middle. And I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So now I have both of the ties on the one side and you can see how it will pull and tie. So go ahead and repeat this process on the opposite side. Now you have a little bag for your football. Go ahead and take your football or whatever bag that you chose. I'm going to put the tag side down. That way it can be removable. That's why I made it this way. So that way you can take it out if you want to. And you can still hang this onto the twiddle muff. So for mine, I'm going to hang it right near the front of the head. So I'm just going to take one of the ties through in the front, and then you could tie a little bow. Don't tie a knot because you want to be able to take it out. So you just tie a little bow on both sides. And now not only do you have these little fun strands to twiddle, but you also have the little football that can be grabbed and squeezed on your twiddle muff. Here I have a little ring that I had left over from one of my kitchen towel toppers. I show how to cover a ring with your yarn. So there's actually a plastic ring on the inside of here. I'm going to sew this to the twiddle muff. This is just one of my leftover crochet work that I had. I don't have a video tutorial for this one, but I'm going to sew this one also onto my twiddle muff, and I'm just showing you because you could use some of your leftover crochet work too if you wanted to add that. This grape, I have a separate video tutorial for this one. It has a little curly thing which is perfect for a twiddle muff. They can play with that. So I'm going to sew this on to the twiddle muff. Here's another one, and I show how you can attach a ring to it too. So this is perfect for a twiddle muff. I have a separate video tutorial for this little grape, and I show how to make the little curly Q on it. Also, I'm going to sew some of my roses on to the twiddle muff. I have a separate video tutorial for these beautiful crochet roses. And then this is just a leftover strip that I had from my bunny sweater, child bunny sweater. Just the bottom portion with the Trinity stitch. So I'm going to sew some beads, some leftover beads that I have along this.